right. Good morning or afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Special one today. It's the weekend. I just want to thank everybody for coming through. We might have a few new faces coming over from Candace's channel. So without further ado, I don't want to leave Candace waiting for too long in the StreamYard green room. But we're on today. We're talking about our channels, talk about our YouTube, talk about how we got started. But most of all, I think answer a lot of your questions. If you have questions about kind of what happens in the background of what we do, I did have a couple people actually just emailed some questions over, just talking about some gear and stuff like that. So we can definitely get into that, but the focus is you and everybody that is watching. And because I know we have some people that do follow the channels, my channel and Candace's channel, that have their own YouTube channels. So we're going to be trying to jump on and give you some tips and ideas for your channel as well. So without further ado, let's bring Candace in, and we'll start with that. Welcome. Hi, Candace.
It's great to be here.
And finally talking other than on the keyboard.
I know, a lot less effort.
It is easier. It definitely is easier. And it's probably easier to get points across when you're talking back and forth. So we'll do the obligatory good morning to everybody that has been joining in, because I see some regulars coming through. I don't know if you can see the chat in StreamYard come through, so I'll post everything that kind of comes up into the stream. So I have only had a guest on a couple times, so I'm a rookie to this, but we do have a few of the regulars. So Brian, thanks for tuning in on the weekend. Thanks for taking your weekend, coming to visit us instead of out doing maybe shopping or something like that. And Jill is here. I've seen Jill on your streams before. Welcome, Jill. I think this is the first time over on my channel. So welcome. Thanks for coming by. And Nadia's here. Nadia comes in usually in the mornings as well. So she's a regular, and so is DSAR live stream, another live streamer. There we go, regular as well. A couple more to get through. Rod's in here for the morning. We'll see who else shows up. Always the stream seems to lag with people getting notified that they come out. So Rod, great to have you here. And last but not least, so far, Stan, welcome to the stream. It's good to have everybody here on a Saturday. So we'll start off, I guess, Candace. I'm always curious with creators on, and I know you've talked about it a little bit on some of your live streams and videos, is why you started, or how you got started. What made you focus on maybe choosing finance as opposed to another type of channel, or maybe you have other channels like I do. I don't know. I'll let you run with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it all began pretty much in the pandemic, where I think most people's lives have changed. In my situation, before the pandemic started, I'd been working in a print shop, and it was boring me absolutely silly. So when the government supports came out and we all had the opportunity to stay at home, I was like, I need to do something a little bit different. So I wasn't sure what. I always had a dream of doing YouTube. So I was like, maybe I should do YouTube, but what am I going to do? So I was kind of mulling that over. I wasn't sure. I was actually almost leaning towards doing reaction videos. So luckily I didn't go that route. So it all actually began. I was sitting there and I had, the government supports were nice. I had all kinds of money at the time. And I was watching a video of Kevin O'Leary, and he was talking about how easy it is to invest. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It really is. And that is a topic that I've always had an interest for. So I was like, you know what? Investing might be the avenue to go. So once I decided on that, I pretty much then started learning, and even more learning. So I started with YouTube. I watched probably 8 to 10 hours of finance videos every single day, just getting myself up to speed, finding out what people were doing, how they were doing it on YouTube, what worked, what didn't work. And then I got involved in a community and made myself indispensable in that community. So when I did launch last October, I already had a head start, because I had a lot of people who already knew me because of all of the contributions I made. So I almost within my first week, I was over 100 followers.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, the first hundreds, like when you do, if everybody's starting a channel, it's always like the first little milestones are always the hardest. Like the first, even getting 10 sometimes it seems like it's hard, but you have the 100, and then the big one obviously is the 1,000, and then up from there.
And I think the biggest hurdle was just getting over the fear, because there's a lot of fear. And sometimes, people, you might think, and you say, okay, everybody on YouTube is young, they're pretty, they're just awesome people. And I perhaps don't fit into that stereotype. but it doesn't matter. That's the whole thing. The interesting thing with finance too is that being a little bit older means that you've got a bit more experience,
a bit more knowledge,
and a bit more knowledge. And that's what a lot of people in finance are looking for. So it sometimes isn't always an advantage to be, young, pretty, thin, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I ran with it. I jumped in, and as they say on, I think it's Think Media, they say, just hit record. And that's what I did. My first 2 videos were out of my mom's laundry room. No backgrounds, just a crappy camera, but I did it. I got them out there, and I just kept on going, kept some consistency.
That's the big hurdle when you first start. Like, I know is the first time turning that camera on and filming is so awkward. The biggest thing for me at the very beginning was not so much, well, it was filming too, because you are awkward, but the biggest thing for me was when you film everything, great, you've got that done, you're over that hurdle, right? And you have it in front of you on the computer, and you have to now all of a sudden edit, and you're listening to yourself, and you're listening to things that you say, and for me, it was definitely, that's the part that I found the hardest. But after you do it for a while, you just kind of, you get into a routine of how you film, how you edit, and it's just, you don't almost pay attention to your voice, because it's such a weird feeling. Yeah. It's just, for me, it was a really weird feeling. So now it's just kind of like cut. You do exactly, and every video is like,
oh yeah,
that much easier.
My initial videos, I was doing them in 1 takes. So it's like, if I was halfway through the video and completely messed up, I started right back at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So sometimes the filming would take me a couple of hours just to get a 20-minute video or a 15-minute video.
Well, you learn then from quickly, is like, if you make a mistake, you learn to pause, right? And then carry on. So when you're editing, like, you can
right. Well, when I first started, I didn't have any editing software.
You just kind of did it. Okay.
Yeah. So I had to do it in 1 take.
You had to do it in 1 take. Yeah. The 1 take ones are okay though. Like, a lot of times, like on my channel, and I'll tell my history after this part on how I kind of got started, and it was about the pandemic too. Funnily enough. What was I forgot now. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, 1 take. I do all my, in this channel that everybody's watching, I typically do all my updates in 1 take, and I kind of just roll with it, because I think that's part of how I want the channel to get across. I don't want to take everything too seriously. I might make a few mistakes. I think that's okay. I might throw sometimes too many ums and ahs in, but I kind of just roll with it. And I think it kind of comes across a bit more, for me, just a bit more authentic as I'm kind of talking about what I'm sharing. So that works for me. But my other channel, the one I started, I do a bit more editing for that one, for sure. So just to go into my channel history, I mean, this channel I've started almost, well, it'll be 2 years in April, and it was kind of an idea that came from my other channel, because I have another channel where I do a lot of photography. Now I do a lot of photography on it, but prior to the pandemic, I worked for I started working, it was years ago, but up until I worked for an online travel company, and of course we all know what happened in 2020 when travel was basically nothing happening. So prior to that, what I did is a lot of stuff I did is I worked for the company, but I would also travel around to a lot of locations and be able to film at resorts and take pictures of resorts. Like, it was honestly like a dream come true. I'd be traveling a lot and getting the VIP treatment at new resorts, and taking pictures of food, taking pictures of the new resorts, and then I created, it was photos for their website. So they wouldn't have photos that were stock photos from resorts. They could actually say, we've been there. This is the actual pictures of rooms and stuff like that. And I did that for a few years. But of course, 2020 rolls around, and there was nothing happening. So you got to figure out what you're doing. And so my channel kind of, and this is where I think talking about topics and YouTube audiences and YouTube finding your audience, is my channel went through a lot of iterations of what it was. Prior, I was doing a lot of travel stuff, and then during the pandemic, you're stuck at home. I used to be a chef, right? So I'm like, I'm just going to do some cooking. So I fired that up. I did live streams. I would basically, it was 3 days a week. I did a live stream cooking in the kitchen, in like, an hour, did it all live, had multiple cameras and everything else. And that was fun. It was a lot, but of course that, that was a lot of work and it just transitioned to more photography. So it was something you enjoy. But the reason I started this channel is because my other channel is monetized, and I can't live off it only, but I mean, I wish I could. But the extra little cash that I had, I found it would just, it gets deposited into your account, and it would just disappear, right? I would have nothing really to show for it, that kind of thing. So I was always a bit of an investor, but I thought I'm going to start to kind of use this to kind of fund this channel, to make it kind of force me to invest a little bit more. And so that's what I've been doing on as we go to build the channel on this side. So that's how I kind of got started on this one. I figured, and I'm going to start use Well Simple because it's really simple to use, and learn as I go. Yeah. So we've got a few more people here. We'll say hi to Abigail. Welcome. It's always great. Lots of people on the channel. All the regulars are here, so that's good. Maybe we'll have to do more Saturday live streams. And Terrain's here. Welcome. Good morning. And Brian, well, thank you. I'm going to say that's maybe to Candace and I both. We'll take that. Thank you.
You can be the awe. I'll be the sum.
There you go.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah. So it's fun. This is what I find, like you said about the type of people or type of person you are, in terms of not fitting like YouTube. There's so many. That's the great thing about YouTube. So there's so many audiences there that I think it does a really good YouTube, like the algorithms or however it works, does a really good job at bringing you an audience, as long as you're putting it out there.
Yeah, as long as you're putting the effort out. That's the whole thing. I mean, you provide a product. You obviously, with YouTube, the first thing you're going to learn is that you have to kind of niche down. If you've got a channel that's like all over the place, you're just not going to build an audience.
No, that's what I learned with my other channel too. I mean, you get an audience for those topics, but they don't necessarily carry forward. So you have to really stick to in general, you have to stick to a particular
to a particular niche, like, and that's kind of the way YouTube works. It's just that you get your niche, you niche down, you start building your audience. It's like, you get some loyal people, and you'll start to see the same people coming back over and over again, the same comments. And, it's fantastic because it gives you that opportunity. Now, one of the things a huge recommendation of is get a live stream going, because that is your opportunity to actually, reach out and touch your audience and, talk and communicate and get some feedback. And also, when it comes to monetization, you need 4,000 watch hours. That's a great way to get there.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like, obviously, I've started on this channel live streaming for the past, it's been just over a month, and it's gone way up. And it's great. It's I mean, it's something I want to continue for sure. Whether I'll be able to continue it, like it's every day is, it's still it's not easy, right?
Yeah.
People have to realize YouTube's not easy, and it's being consistent is the key. But it can be tough. You don't want to get burnout either, right? All the time, because sometimes you just don't want to necessarily jump on in front of the camera. You're not always, the thing about live stream, if they're scheduled, right? You're scheduled them, so you have to go no matter what, unless something happens. But for the most part, you might not feel like doing it that day, or it might not be a great news day, or it might not, whatever, and you have to still jump. You still have to jump on and try and be.
Yeah. That's the thing about having a schedule. Like, I found, at least in my situation, I did basically one live stream every week. About 3-4 weeks after I was into it. So around the beginning of November, I started, and I hit my 4,000 watch hours well before I got to the 2,000 or the 1,000 subs.
Or the 1,000, yeah.
Because it adds up so fast.
Yeah, I should have started my live streams. Because I'm still a bit away from. They're getting there, but it's funny because
now, so you must be getting close.
Getting there. But that's the thing. I didn't start this channel necessarily. That's not the end goal. It's more for learning and to enjoy. And I think that's a good point to bring up and let people know, if they're thinking of starting a channel, don't just think about possible money. Do it because you actually want to do it, because it's hard. And it does take a lot of time, and there's a good chance for the first year or so you'll be putting a lot of time into it without making any money. So
you'll be working for free.
Yeah.
And even your second year, I mean, it takes a while before the money starts to get bigger, because
Yeah. but it snowballs. Like you just start to your channel, as long as you're consistent, it keeps building. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And we've got a comment from Neaton, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess might be someone
He's one of my favorites. He's awesome.
There you go. Welcome. Thanks for joining the live stream over here. Something different. And there we go. Great information, ideas. So on that note, if anybody does have any questions about anything, we're more than happy to answer them best we can.
And it doesn't even have to all be about YouTube. If you want to sneak in a finance question, we probably can answer it.
We'll probably talk about that too. Sure, we'll get there. So I did have a question that was emailed to me by someone, and because they're not able to make the live stream, they'll probably watch the replay. But they asked about the year, and I know you kind of talked about it a little bit at the very beginning about your first videos using a phone and just getting it out there. That's the most important thing. But I guess I can talk about what I use, but if you want to maybe just mention what you've started with your cell phone,
sure,
which is a great place to start. But
I never actually started with my cell phone. I started with when I realized I was going to do it, I took some of my profits from investing and I bought a MacBook Pro. Okay. So it's a great little computer, but the webcam within the MacBook Pro, it's just not that good. So I was using that initially. And then, of course, I eventually went to an actual camera for my videos.
Okay.
And now with the newest version of OS, so Ventura, I can now use my iPhone as a webcam.
That's right.
So this is the iPhone I'm using right now. Because my big camera, I use that just for videos per se. So I don't use it for streaming live, but yeah, you slowly build up. I mean, here's the thing. You can't just jump into YouTube and have perfect videos. No. So you have to start off thinking that, okay, well, I've got training wheels on, and that's exactly what it is, because you're going to be learning every video, and your goal is that every video you make is a tiny, tiny bit better than the previous one. So you're always learning, you're figuring things out. And even if, you know what, it may take you 100 videos to finally get it. And that's okay. There's no rules to how fast you have to get there. There's no rules that says you have to be, monetized in a year, or you have to be making absolute brilliant gems of videos within a year, because, I've got videos in my early repertoire that I'm embarrassed to even watch. Big one, my Christmas video. It's not that it's a bad video. It's that the laptop webcam just wasn't focusing.
Yeah,
so it's a little blurry. And I'm like, anytime I see that the numbers go up on that video, I'm like, I feel bad for the person who just watched that blurry mess.
You have to keep those up for prosperity though, because you can look back and remember.
That way there you can sort of
see where you're growing.
Right now, if I need Spruce Me Up to say, hey, you've come a long way, I just have to go back and watch one of my early videos. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've done a lot better. And that's just the way YouTube works. You put in the time. You also have to figure out how to work it into your life, because, you have to support yourself, because that first year or longer, depending on how long it takes you to get monetized, you're going to make zero. You're going to make nothing. Yeah. So you have to be prepared to do that. That's why a lot of times it may take longer, because maybe if you are working a full-time job at the same time, maybe you can only do one video a week.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely, it's definitely hard. The good thing with having past videos though too, like I look back at it's funny because some of my best performing videos are just terrible. And I think, and then you look at it and you go, well, I'm not going to take it off because these are getting me so many. You think it's crazy because it's like it's getting you more subscribers and more views, and it's like you just don't like that video, but you don't want to take it away off of YouTube because it's doing so well, which is kind of funny. And it's weird how sometimes the algorithm works like that. I sometimes it just baffles me, because sometimes you get certain videos that just go crazy for some reason and have a lot of good views and a lot of push out there, and they're not necessarily your favorite videos. And I find that too. Sometimes I've posted videos before and it's like, this is okay, but I want to get something out. And those turn out to be some of the best ones. And then the ones you spend like a ton of time on and write maybe a script on it and everything else, they don't do it. You hit publish and they just fall flat for whatever reason, which is sometimes that can be frustrating with YouTube for sure.
Yeah, sometimes you never know what's going to catch fire. The thing that really blew up my channel was I did a live stream on Christmas last year, and it was a Christmas live stream, but it was still getting hits. In the summer, it was still getting hits.
Weird, hey?
And I was like, well, why is this getting hits? Well, it's because I promoted Canoe, EIT in it. And I discovered that for some reason, there wasn't really anybody out there sort of championing Canoe. So I was like, okay, well, let's do it. And so I made this Canoe video, and it's still the highest viewed video on my channel. You know, it was just like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was sitting at about not even 400 yet. I was just in the high 300s in subs. And I dropped this Canoe video. Within a few days, I was almost up to 600 subs.
Holy.
So I just jumped over the whole community tab part just from this one video because it exploded.
From one video, and can definitely what can happen. So we've got Nicole, big fan of both. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks for joining. But we do have a couple questions from the viewers. So we'll pull those up because that's great. We love questions. One from Nadia is asking, what do you think is easier, YouTube or TikTok? I've been thinking of starting a TikTok account. I can't speak for TikTok because I don't have it, but I can put in 2 cents about YouTube, and obviously TikTok is like those short videos, and YouTube has those.
Yeah.
And what I've actually noticed, I put shorts on my channel, and they I think they bring a different audience in, because I think just the way it gets pushed out to viewers on YouTube, but the people that are targeted for shorts aren't necessarily the ones that watch the live stream, and the ones that watch the live stream maybe don't see my other videos. So I think there's different audiences. So there's some room to kind of, I think, if you have a YouTube account, to play around with shorts. I always kind of, for mine, I put on the channel, I try and have a little bit more, like, take it a little bit more fun, and just if the market has a good day, it's usually like a rocket taking off, or if it's a bad day, I'll put a bear on there just to kind of put that out there. And some of those I've actually got a ton of subscribers from. It's weird how, and I think if you're thinking of starting, Nadia, YouTube or TikTok and the short format videos, I think really maybe look at YouTube, because I think YouTube is really starting to put a focus on that to try and bring people over.
And YouTube is starting to bring monetization in for shorts.
And they have brought in, yes, they have added, you can now monetize on your shorts. So I think that's probably why I see any shorts that I post, usually like a few days after I post, sometimes they just take right off and get a few, I mean, they're not getting millions of views by any means, but like one of them has, I think, 6,000 views or something like that, 5,000 views. Usually now, if I put something up, they'll get about 1,000 views, and I usually get a couple of subscribers from it. So I think YouTube is obviously pushing those out. Yeah, no,
YouTube is a huge fan of shorts. So and they had issues. I mean, YouTube used to have some issues with shorts. Like, one of the big issues is that the shorts and the long form used to be separate. So if somebody was watching your shorts, they weren't getting served up any of the long form content, because it was almost like they had to discover you in shorts, and then they had to completely discover you again, but in long form. But they've now fixed that, so it's now much more better meshed.
Okay.
And shorts, YouTube really, really is putting a lot of money into shorts. So that's what they want you to do.
Yeah.
So that is a good way to grow content.
Yeah. So
the thing you have to realize, though, about shorts is that even if you have a serious channel like ours, like a finance channel, you could just get silly with your shorts, because that's what people are looking for in shorts. They're not looking for, a quick 30-second lesson. They're looking for something that amuses them for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Take their mind off things or whatever. Yeah. That's what I figured out from that. Another question from DSAR Livestream. How do you come up with topics to talk about? That is, I'll let you answer that one.
Well, I've got a lot of ways. One, I've created a Facebook group for my channel. So people can go into the Facebook group and they can say, can you do a deep dive on Algonquin or something like that? And I'll do it. So I'm always looking for feedback from the community. Lately, I've had at least 2 from Scott's chats. So I think
people asking for things.
And actually the Algonquin, because of all these questions that kept coming up over here on Scott's channel. So I was like, yeah, I'll do those. I think Scott the other day was saying he wants me to do a deep dive on, was it Adobe?
Adobe. Yeah.
Adobe.
Someone else. I think someone else. We were talking about Adobe because I use Adobe. That's a whole. I guess we could get into that too with YouTube because that's how I
Absolutely.
edit. But
And for Christmas, I'll just give you this last little thing here.
mm-hmm.
I'm doing this. I was going to do the 12 days of Christmas, like have the community vote on stocks and come up with the 12 that they voted. Then I found out that the 12 days of Christmas starts on the 25th. And I'm like, what? I didn't know that. I thought it was the build up to Christmas because that's kind of what I wanted to do. So now it's going to be 12 stocking stuffers for Christmas. And so I'm letting, I'm giving the community the opportunity just to vote on their favorite stocks, and then I'll count it down.
Count them down.
Whatever they voted for, that's what's going to come up. And then that's going to be shorts, actually, 12 of them.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
12 days in a row, starting on like the 13th, running all the way to the 24th.
Yeah. I can give it my 2 cents on that one too for DSAR Live. So it can sometimes be hard to think of topics, especially if, like, for me, I'm kind of niched and I just mostly share my portfolio, but I do branch out and try and share the things that are relative. So what I will do is sometimes I think DSAR has a channel. Obviously, it makes sense having a live stream channel, but a good way to find topics if you're sometimes, because you get blocked. Sometimes you get a block. You just think like you always think there's nothing to talk about or there's nothing to bring up. There always is, but you just get YouTube block. A good way to go back though is look back at your old videos and ones that have done well that you could maybe redo. That might be one way to find new topics. For Candace, canoe is obviously, and I think it is popular because Dan is saying canoe forever. Is if it's a popular one, do more videos on things that are popular. It will help your audience obviously likes it because they're watching that many numbers. But another thing that I've noticed in YouTube as well, and not everybody maybe jumps into their analytics of YouTube, you should, if you have a channel, is it will actually show you now your audience, and from that it'll actually show you topics, and it'll show search terms that your audience, so your subscribers or people that watch your video, things that they're searching for on YouTube. So that's a good way to look for some topics too. They might not always be relevant. What I've noticed, they're not maybe always relevant for your particular channel, but sometimes you find you can sometimes find a couple in there that are, and it will show you actually if it will actually show you if content on YouTube is lacking of that. So you can actually go in, you can click it, it'll take you to that search, so you can actually go and see other videos that are created for that topic. And if there's any kind of content gap, there's maybe an opportunity there. So that's what I've done a little bit too. I always find it doesn't show you who is searching for what, but I always find there's always some funny ones in there that you're like, that doesn't have anything to do with finance. I don't know why they're searching for, banana bread recipes, for example.
Well, because they have class.
So that's another way to find topics on there. And thanks, Nadia. Hopefully that helps you out.
Yeah.
And then she's saying, yeah, I should start a Facebook group, but I don't have Facebook, so no.
Well, you know what you could do? I mean, Facebook is just what I'm using, but you could do something like Discord as well. That's also really good for that. Yeah.
The hard part is, I find this is always, if you stretch yourself too thin, you have to keep up on it, right? So if I have a page, if I have a page, or if I have an email newsletter or something like that, it's always, I find it's still, you can only do so much, and you don't want to have someone sign up for something or join something where you're not going to be able to give them some value. That's what I find. So I've kind of held off on that to do it. And I don't like Facebook, so that was but yeah. And DSAR, another question here. Do you suggest different channels for different topics? Yes, I can answer that one because I have a couple channels. So this channel that you're watching obviously is finance related, and we've done a good job at not talking about finance so far, which is good. And I have another channel that is on more so photography, but in particular the camera brand that I use, type of camera that I focused on. So it's a topic photography, but niche down even more into a brand that I use. So I found that that's worked for me. And then I actually do have another channel based on the brand, that my other channel, but it's just for shorts. So I actually do just shorts on that channel, just to kind of keep the shorts separate. So I kind of, when I do a video, I'll do kind of a shorts companion piece to it, which kind of which kind of works.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I discovered your photography channel by mistake. I was just going through my surfing one day, and it popped you up, and I was like, oh, I guess I missed a video, and I clicked on it, and you started talking about pictures and some scenery, and I'm like, this isn't finance.
So it's weird. I guess YouTube must do that with the audience, because obviously I'm subscribed to myself on the different channels, but so it must kind of know that we've watched different things or something. So it kind of says, oh, you might like this. But I do keep it very, very separate. I don't have it linked like in this investing channel. I don't have it linked back and forth or anything like that. And it works. It's nice to keep it. It is nice to keep it separate for different topics.
Well, one thing too is you don't want to confuse the algorithm.
Yeah.
Because the way the algorithm works with YouTube is it's not about your channel. The algorithm doesn't care about your channel, to be honest. It cares about the people who are watching YouTube. So what the algorithm does is it's looking at what they're interested in, and it's going out and pulling in videos that it thinks that person's interested in. And if your video happens to be one of them, it will pull it in. And then depending on how that person reacts to your video, that might help get your video served up more for other people to have a look at it.
Yeah. And so the algorithm gets confused if it's different topics. What I have noticed that because my other channel went through a few iterations, right? Obviously changing from work or whatever you're doing. I found that it took the channel kind of about 30 days of creating new content to finally start to pick that up from the new content and see the views actually start to. I think this takes a bit for YouTube to kind of figure out where to show your videos. And I noticed that a bit with this channel as well. It did take about, you put that first video out and,
and I find that very funny, because if I accidentally click on a link for Indian cuisine, I'm going to be showing Indian cuisine like crazy for the next 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Something that you haven't watched ever, kind of thing. Yeah, it's funny how it pushes that out there too. I get that as well. So I think the big thing for people that are thinking of starting that do have a channel is don't be discouraged at the very beginning. That's the biggest thing, kind of hurdle you have to get over. The hurdle is getting in front of the camera. And I think one suggestion, like I follow a lot through this channel. I follow a lot of, and I'm subscribed to other, like that's how I found your channel, but I'm subscribed to a lot of the other finance channels in Canada. Not so much the States, because I think Canada seems to be a bit more relevant for what I like. And the one thing I have noticed, and the one suggestion I think I could give people is get in front of the camera, because there's a lot of people that share their portfolios but they're just kind of sharing a screen, and it's not as exciting to watch. That's the big thing. I think if you want to start it, if you do want to start a channel, I think especially maybe in finance is getting
get your face out
there. I mean, there's obviously maybe some apprehension with people that don't want to share their portfolio. I mean, I get that. That's fine too. But I would probably start a different channel to be able to talk about. You can talk about your portfolio without sharing it.
And you could share your face, even if you just shared your face at an opening, and then you went to a full screen as you're talking. That's cool.
Yeah, because I think that will keep people engaged. And then obviously with YouTube, the longer they're engaged to your video, the more they're going to show your video to you again, and the more other people will get to see your video because people are watching it. So it will push that out. And I think that's where not to be discouraged either at the very beginning, because YouTube doesn't care if you have 0 subscribers or 1 million subscribers. It's still going to give you that push of the video at the very beginning to see who might want to watch it. So if you grab enough attention from a good video, it does take time. Obviously, a person with 1 million subscribers is going to get more views just because they have those subscribers. But at the very beginning, it just takes time. But eventually, each one builds, going out as it gets to know what you're posting about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once you get to 1,000 subscribers and you get monetized, then the subscribers are not as important anymore. I mean, you still want them, because then those are people who are going to usually watch your stuff fairly quickly. But the emphasis goes away. What the emphasis really turns down to is how long you're keeping people on YouTube, because that's what it's all about. Keeping people there. There's a thing called click-through rate. So that's where the whole thumbnails, like if you ever go on YouTube, you'll see everybody has all these funky thumbnails, and sometimes they're very, very clickbaity.
Yeah, they got like the surprise face.
Yeah, surprise face or atomic bombs going off behind them, or like, ah. So, it's like they do that because they're trying to get you into the video.
Yeah.
And you almost have to do that because where everybody's doing it. But here's the thing. When it comes to clickbait, there's clickbait that's clickbait, and that's sucks because it's telling you something and it's not giving it. But if you create some clickbait, you can make clickbait like titles, but you got to make sure that you're actually delivering on what the title's implying you're delivering on.
Yeah, so. And making people want to click because there's a bit of a mystery in it. Like I've noticed that with my last video that I posted when I bought those from the community voting on the 100 shares of Div. I did a video on that, and the thumbnail was basically I bought 100 shares of this, and it doesn't tell you what so it kind of gets that people wanting to actually see what it is, and it's funny. It's one of my best performing videos. So it's kind of funny.
Exactly.
Just the way so a lot of time, sometimes I know for my other channel, like sometimes I've spent more time trying to figure out the thumbnail and the title than actually it took me to make the video, which sounds crazy.
Beautiful thing too. If you put out a video and it's just not doing very well, you can just go and you can change the title, change the thumbnail, and sometimes that will completely change the story.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So really look at your analytics. You go back and look at your analytics for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I know I've had at least a couple times where I've changed the thumbnail, and one of my regulars then ended up watching it again, and they're like, I'm pretty sure I saw this one before. I'm like, yeah, I was just freshening up the thumbnail.
Changing it. Yeah, I've done that too. It's always good because if you have a certain theme or something with your thumbnails, if you want to go back sometimes and refresh them, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It can kind of really bring new life into older things as you learn, right? As you learn as you go, to get things like that. One thing that I found for creating thumbnails is there's in the back end or not thumbnails, but the titles and some of the description stuff I use vidIQ. So it's like a plugin that you get for your browser for people that are watching. I think you probably use, I'm not sure what one you use, but it's vidIQ. It's free. There's a free version, there's a paid version, but it plugs into your browser, and then the back end, it will actually give you tips on kind of, it'll use AI to rewrite a title that they think will convert better. And that can be really helpful, I find.
Yeah, and within vidIQ as well, it will also give you suggestions for topics, and sometimes there's some good ones in there.
Yeah.
There's also another one called TubeBuddy. So there's they kind of compete. They do similar things.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a great question from Brian, because this is different too. It's like he's asking us. This is a great question, Brian. How can we help you? So leave a like, a comment helps absolutely, and watch the whole ad. So watch the whole ad to the end. Anything else? Yes, I mean that's a like is always great. Even dislikes are a trigger to YouTube because some videos people actually might just dislike, but it doesn't mean they're a bad video, if that makes sense. So any kind of
the topic.
Exactly. So any kind of interaction is a good thing. The biggest thing, I mean, I'm not monetized here, so I can let Candace speak to that with the ads. She maybe get into that, but the biggest thing that can help is watching the whole video.
Yeah.
From someone.
Yeah, absolutely. Watching the video helps get the video out to more people. Now, when it comes to the actual creator, when you watch an ad, then yeah, I get paid. If you skip the ad, I don't get paid for it. It's simple as that. Not to say, you know what, if you hate ads, skip the ads. It's not like I'm telling everybody, yes, you have to watch every single ad. Yes. Oh, you got that 1 hour ad? Well, go walk the dog.
Some of them can be a bit long.
And I've seen that where it's like an
hour-long
ad. I've seen some of those, an hour-long ad on a 10-minute video. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, watching the ads gets them paid or gets us paid. So that's not a bad thing. There's other things you can do too. Once Scott gets monetized, there'll be different options like channel memberships where you can join, and he'll most likely offer some kind of exclusive content for you. And it also things like super thanks, and I think there's also a just a normal thank you as well on videos where you can buy somebody a coffee and it's like, okay, here's $5 for a coffee. I love this video, that type of thing. So there's a lot of different ways that you can sort of help. But being in the community, to me, this is the most important, not the money. I love the money, but just being there, being interactive, giving feedback, that to me is the most valuable part of what somebody in the community can do. And going back to that previous question about getting ideas, sometimes that's exactly what happens. Monday's video came from a comment on one of my last videos. Somebody said, you know, with the banks all dropping, it would be cool if maybe you could do a video with all of them. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that Monday. That was my response pretty much to them. And so, you know, I'm doing up a video that I'll film tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they're going to have all of the big six and their Q4 results. So
there you go. I guess another way, Brian, to support creators, and this can be for some smaller ones that aren't monetized, because what you can do in your, and I do this in mine, is I have affiliate. It's like an affiliate link for Wealthsimple. So if someone signs up through clicking that link in the description, it's like $5 kind of thing. They have different things at different times. You get a reward, I get a reward, and it doesn't cost you any extra. There's also, like, you know, one of them is ShakePay that I use. I try and share one of the things that I use. And I think, Candace, on some of your channels, I think you have Amazon links.
Yeah, I have Amazon affiliate links just for books that are useful.
So don't forget, I guess, for people watching too, is, you know, if anybody's shopping on Amazon for anything, it doesn't have to be a book. You could go to Candace's channel. You say, hey, I want to support Candace this month. It's not going to cost me anything extra. You go to her video, you click on a link to go to Amazon, and then you search for and purchase whatever you want. She will still get credit for that. A little bit of commission comes her way.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't cost you. It doesn't cost the person buying anything different, and it'll help out a creator that, you know, ends up getting a few extra dollars. It's not huge amounts. I mean, you definitely need to have a huge channel, I think, to make anything, you know, but exactly. every little bit helps. And it's always kind of nice to see those things come in. You know, every once in a while I think I've had 3 or 4 Wealthsimple ones come through, and you get a little thing pops on your phone. It's like, it doesn't tell you who did it, which is kind of sucks, because you want to thank them.
Really? Because my Wealthsimple tells me who it is.
It doesn't anymore. Mine just said someone signed up now. It didn't show the last one. So it said, here's, you open your present, and it's, you know, I got $5 and then they get something. So whoever it was, thank you. But I've had a few of those, so that helps.
They must have changed it. I haven't gotten a Wealthsimple in a while, but
yeah,
I don't really heavily promote. Like, you know, I've seen a lot of creators who are like, you know, use my link for Wealthsimple, get your stocks or get your bonus.
Yeah, I just kind of leave it down there, and, you know, if
it's down there. If somebody wants to use it, they can use it.
Yeah. Same with, because I share it because I use it and I like it. You know, I'm not going to put. Sometimes you get sometimes you see people's videos that have links to everything in it. They might not. You know, if you're not using the product, or you know, kind of want to share it, there's no point in putting it out there, I think. But yeah,
exactly. And that sort of goes with sponsorships. Like, I haven't taken a sponsorship yet, but for me, when I do take one, it's going to be something I believe in.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people out there that just will take anything and they'll promote anything, and I won't do that.
Yeah, that's what's happened. I noticed that comes across more because my other channel, I have almost 15,000 subscribers now, and as your channel grows, you get that more, and you get a lot of people. You just get it's just a lot of time wasting, and I've almost kind of like. At one point, because it was relevant to my channel, but it was just such a pain to get it worked out that it's just like, and it was for reviewing a software, and then I got it, and the software I'd have to download another app, and it was just like, it was just too much. I was frustrated, and I'm like, I'm not going to film a video about this, because it's just, this app is terrible. So they're not going to like it anyways. And so I just didn't even bother doing it. So, and I've had that with people wanting to send products and stuff like that. And sometimes you just have to make sure it's really relevant to your channel, and you don't want to come across as being too like salesy, I think, either. That's not my goal.
Well, exactly.
For sharing topics. But this is another great question from Brian. We definitely appreciate these questions, Brian. Because he thought it was monetized. You have to have 1,000 subscribers. Is there something else? And there is. So YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers, and then you also need to have 4,000 watch hours of your public videos or live streams. in the last 365 days. So it's like a rolling 365 days. So you have to have the eyeballs on your, not just subscribers. You need to have eyeballs watching your video. That's why it helps to watch, videos beginning to end if you're so inclined to like the topic.
Yeah.
That's hard. And that's kind of it's both hard to do when you're first starting out. I mean, the subscribers are hard. Watch time is hard. It's not, they don't make it easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And that's the thing with a small viewer count. One of the ways that you can best help them out is, as Scott was saying, watch their whole video, because that all adds up for them.
Yeah.
And
share it, but not share it to people. Share them to people that you think would be interested in the topic.
Exactly. Sort of like, because here's that interesting thing. So when you first start your channel, one of the things is that you want subscribers badly. So some people will go out and they'll be like, asking all their family and friends who may not even be interested in what they're talking about on YouTube. And what that does is that just confuses the algorithm. So it's usually best to just let your channel grow with people who are interested in your topic, because then YouTube knows who to serve you to.
Yeah, it does the best job. You could send a link to all your friends, and if they're subscribed but never watched video, it doesn't really matter. It helps with your subscriber count, but the biggest thing is eyeballs on your, like, actually watching your channel to help it grow. So
yeah, and a few times I did sort of put my channel up on my normal Facebook. I even put in it, if you're interested in finance, go check out my channel. If you're not interested in finance, don't. Quite simple as that, because they're not going to help me. And you will find people as well that will try to sell you subs. Never, ever take them. One, it's against the terms of policy. So it's against YouTube's rules. So they'll throw you out. You'll lose your channel if you get caught. Two, you're absolutely shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to the algorithm, because those people, half of them are robots. Half of them are not even remotely interested in your topic. So YouTube will have no idea who to serve you out to.
Yeah. I see that with spammers coming too. On the topic of that, you get a ton of views on something, but you just know it's bots or something, because you get 20. If somebody's looking at your comments, you get like 20 comments within 2 minutes, and you're like, oh, my video's doing really well, and you're like, oh, these are just scammers. And delete.
Yeah. If you just delete the first one that they're all commenting on, it takes all of them. So you can do it in one foul swoop.
Everything done. Yeah. There we go. So we're almost kind of coming to that. But the question I guess have for you then is, what's the plan for your channel in almost 2023, which is crazy.
I know.
What's the plan? Any changes, or
there's going to be some changes?
Direction. Sneak peek here, maybe.
No, there's going to be some changes. I'm still kind of working it out. I think one of the things with the changes is now that I have channel memberships, I'm going to start trying to do a little bit more for the channel members, while making sure that for the non-channel members, there's still a really good experience. I'm also taking a look at the format a little bit. So right now I've got a format where Mondays is a list video, Thursdays is a deep dive video. When I do a video on Saturdays, not every Saturday, but a lot of Saturdays I do a video. They're more of a commentary video, and then a live stream. So I'm looking at ways to sort of spice it up a little bit, sort of to keep the core content, but also expand on it a little bit, just to make the channel a little more interesting overall. So that's my goal for December, is to sort of figure this out. And I'll probably start off in the new year with a little bit of a live stream, just sort of explaining exactly any format changes that are happening. The amount of content, it'll be the same. So
okay. And then on the same topic of that, I guess would be, what about gear and stuff? I know you got a new computer. We didn't talk much about gear a lot on this stream, but is there any upgrades in terms of cameras or?
Well, no, the camera I have now,
all that kind of stuff, lights,
camera,
that kind of stuff.
And I have a lot of lights. I've got, and I just got the Mac Studio, so I think gear upgrade wise, I think I'm good probably for hopefully another year at least.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, my goal is to kind of, because I do like doing these live streams, so I think I'll continue that in the new year. I have to level up the live stream in terms of getting it, just getting it a bit more professional looking, and without going too crazy. Obviously, I'm doing that challenge with StreamYard, so I'm going to be doing it for, I want to do whatever I can do free. I don't want to have to pay for any software because I want to stick to that goal, 1 year at least of investing the money from StreamYard. So I'm not doing that, but I do have obviously improve the microphone a little bit because I just use for my live streams, I just use my iMac, and I have all this gear. Like I have wireless microphones. I have my DSLR camera, but I don't have I have to get a tripod. Like I have to get the setup done up. So that's my goal in the new year. So it involves, because if you're filming, there's one, like when I film a regular video, I'm usually outside or something like that. And I have my studio at home. And when I'm filming with my camera, it's one angle, but as soon as I switch it it doesn't work with doing a live stream because I need my computer in front of me, but my tripod's too big, and so I have to figure that.
Just to give you a quick view behind the scenes, this is my green screen. That's what we run.
And that's what I have too, is a green screen as well for my live streams. Yeah. And when I was with my mom, I used to use a screen because I was in a second bedroom up there for almost a year, and it's like. But what was interesting about this is the thing with YouTube, because you can kind of do it anywhere, and I had always kind of done a background anyways. So when I moved, I just put the same background on, so no one even won't even.
Oh, and here's an interesting thing: you can just see it down in the corner there. If you can see that little sliver of blue, that is my blue screen. So if I want to wear green,
so you can wear green.
We'll pull across the blue screen for that.
Yeah. And I guess that's we're almost coming to the end here. So if anybody has any other questions, and we kind of talking to gear and stuff like this and setups and everything, we didn't really get into it, but it's great how the conversations always go in different directions. I like that. But the big tip I can have for people with YouTube is make sure you do kind of try and set up as quick, as best as possible. Have a separate area to have videos, and because I always find if your camera is set up on a tripod, if your microphone's ready to go, and you have that, whether you do a green screen background or some kind of background, if it's set up all the time, ready to go, and all you have to do is sit down or stand up in front of it and push record, you're going to film a lot more videos, as opposed to having to set everything up all the time and get it all going. So the more you can streamline your process, I think it works out.
And also, keep in mind at least the first 50 videos, you're learning maybe even the first 100 videos. So don't start investing. Don't go crazy in that phase by going out and spending thousands of dollars on equipment.
You don't need it.
Just record, get your videos, get it under your belt, learn, start looking at what you can do for software. So when I started off, I use Final Cut Pro right now, but when I started off, I was just using the free version of iMovie.
But that's good though. That's nothing wrong with it, right? But it gives you more power. It's more things you can do. You can definitely speed up your process with using different programs for sure. But it's a whole learning curve. It's kind of fun. I have a friend. She has a channel, and she's got about 5,000 subscribers. She does travel stuff. She does it all on her. She still does it all on her cell phone.
Yeah. And new cell phones now, they have fantastic cameras. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong. Here's the big thing though: if you are making videos and you're using your cell phone, don't do it portrait. Lay your cell phone in your landscape mode, and then that way it'll film it.
Unless you're doing shorts.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're doing shorts,
you got to switch it. But some of the programs, like I use Adobe Premiere, and some of those programs now, like it will take, if I film, say I'm on my phone and I'm filming, or any camera filming regular, I guess not vertical, the program will actually, if you have a clip, it will use AI to actually reframe it in a vertical video. So you don't have to film things two ways. So if you have a video that you want to do and then share it as a short, you can just literally click a button, it will convert it and follow along the framing for that, which is kind of neat.
And a new feature as well on YouTube as well is if you go in through your phone into your YouTube, you can actually clip shorts from your long form content. So if you want to make like a preview short, you can do that as a way to try to get some folks over.
Get people in there. There we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there we go. We're coming up to the hour. This was fun. So I do really appreciate you taking the time to join
Oh,
on
no, it's,
and then finally get to chat. We should probably answer maybe, I don't know. No one asked an investment question, which was good. A canoe came up, so we got away with it, I guess. So I don't
I
know if
guess
anybody
so.
has an investment question before the end, before we sign off. Maybe
Yeah.
fire that in there.
A quick investment question.
We did pretty good.
I know. Yeah, no, we did fine. I mean, we talked a little bit about YouTube, and we got it all out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
What more can we say?
No, nothing else to say, I guess. I just appreciate you coming on. It's nice to finally have a chat. I do appreciate it. So
that's always the fun thing.
Yeah. So I'll have to come over if you want me on your channel. I'm available if you want to have me over there one day. We can talk about something maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want me there. If anybody else is watching and hasn't subscribed to Candace's channel, I have a link in the description of this video, but you can look and Mountain Finance. I think most people were subscribed. I think I pulled a few yours over on this one, which is appreciated. So anybody that was new, thanks for joining in. If you want to check out my channel or one of my live streams, here's my plug, and I'll let you plug, and then we'll take off. But I do live streams Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific time to about 8:45, 9 o'clock. So it'll be great to have you join on a weekday if you want as well. And then Candace, where can people find you and do your plug? Oh, before you do your plug, we do have a question, and it's Mountains of Cash, MC.
Yep, Mountains of Cash.
I'll let you take this one. What is your goal when it comes to investing? We got one investing question, then I'll let you do your plug, and then we'll go.
When it comes to investing, one of my biggest goals is eventually long term. We're talking very long term. I'm looking at end game. So how can I use investing today? What moves can I make today that are going to set me up when eventually retirement happens? So how can I grow my TFSA? How can I get a larger contribution room? How can I build up a certain level of passive income so that way because if you have passive income within, for example, your TFSA, that is not going to cause any kind of a clawback on your old age security when you get there. So little things like that. So I think when I'm thinking of investing that way, I'm thinking of which companies are going to sort of further my long-term goal, which is obviously to live comfortably in retirement. I think that's what everyone's investing goal should be. Now, if it comes to day trading, it's to make as much friggin' money as I can make and as fast as possible.
In as short a period of time as possible.
Yeah, but day trading's not investing. Day trading is just making money.
Yeah, and hopefully not losing money.
Exactly. Yeah, it's I get cranky if I lose money. So,
on mine. I mean, I think my channel's pretty clear. My goal, obviously, it's for retirement, but for me, I mean, my goal with investing I'll speak specifically for the channels. I did a terrible job at my TFSA for so many years because I didn't necessarily understand what I could do with it and how it could be used. So my goal is to use that in a more efficient way. And the goal, it's a long-term goal, is to get the balance up to $100,000. That could take me 10 years. It could take me 2 years if I'm lucky. It's hard to know how long that's going to be. That's the goal. But again, it's retirement building and having savings for that for me.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I think it should be for everybody when it comes to their investing.
And have a little bit of fun along the way and learn. I think that I find that enjoyable. Not everybody likes investing, but I've learned a lot by starting the channel, and listening to your channel and other channels. It's just.
Yeah. And the other thing too is the more you learn about investing, the more you learn about, pretty much the world that we live in, because the world is run by money. It's run by all of these businesses. And, when I'm doing deep dives on, whichever company, you're learning about that company. You're learning about how everything is sort of interconnected and how the economy, personal finance, how that is all meshed together. And you begin to learn that one little thing happens in one part of the world and it causes ripples through the rest of the world, because we're all connected in that way. So I think it's rather cool. It gives you a really broad understanding, I think, of the world overall.
Yeah. And you notice that I notice that more as you, because if I have a channel on investing, so you pay more attention, maybe more attention than I maybe should, because sometimes you can go down these paths and learn things and that you probably don't want to know about how the world actually works. But you can, it's interesting. It's interesting how, like you said, something across on the other side of the world impacts us and impacts our stocks and impacts our investments, impacts everything in the world. So good question,
Well, I
MC.
mean, just this weekend, OPEC is meeting, and it looks like they're going to cut back the production on oil. So that's probably going to cause a small oil price increase beginning of this week. So just as an example, real world example.
Yeah. So thanks. So I'm basically saying thanks for your question. Thanks for your answers. So great. Last question. We did get the investment one in there. So before we sign off, I'll let you, where can people find you, Candace, if they're watching this and they don't know where to find you on YouTube? And
well, if you head over to Mountain Finance, just do a search on YouTube on Mountain Finance, it comes up, or follow one of Scott's links. I have so I have 2 to 3 videos a week, 2 guaranteed every so often. Usually, I would say 2 out of every 4 Saturdays I have a video. And then there's a live stream every Sunday. The live stream is more current events oriented. So This Week in Finance is what I technically call it. So, and I'm also on the Danter Banters on
that's right.
Wednesday nights. That's just another live stream run by the Danters. Tim and Nancy Danter, if you want to check that out, just search for them. And
they have a channel as well.
Yeah. We'll have to get you, if you ever want to come on there, just let me know. I can get you on there on Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. I'm always in bed early, so I don't know if I'm up that late, depending what time the live stream goes.
Yeah, but keep in mind we're all Eastern.
So Eastern time. I'm good then.
Yeah.
Not go bed that early, but
yeah, because I think it runs at 8. It usually runs 8 to 9.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm just finishing my day here, so we can make that happen. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So thanks everybody for tuning in on a Saturday, taking your time out of your busy schedules to join us on the live stream. I really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate Candace for coming on and chatting about all things the YouTube. Maybe we'll come back and have a full-on finance chat. You're more than welcome.
Next time we do it, we'll do finance.
You're more than welcome to come on. But it was great to do something a little bit different for the Saturday, which isn't when the markets close. Let's not think about it. Let's have a bit of fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can talk about YouTube forever. So I do appreciate it. We'll sign off, as we didn't start the beginning with the fireplace. So I think we end with the fireplace. We'll let you go off, have the rest of your day, and let everybody else relax. And fun fact on the reason the fire actually goes on at the end, and people may not know in the live stream, YouTube lets you do those end screens, and I'll go in after and put an end screen in a lot of the things, so it doesn't cover our faces. That's why the fire goes for about a minute or so. That's my theory.
Okay.
All right, there we go. So let's get that on. I'm gonna mute myself, and then thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye everybody.
Hey, come on.